Hi you guys. I think for the next couple of videos I'm just gonna be chuckling every time I'm just like, welcome back to my channel, because I've missed you guys so much. So if you're not caught up, please go watch the video of my life update. I'll link it in the description and in the icon above. I've been away for some time. You've seen I haven't been uploading, but I'm back. I've been quite busy. I thought I would be able to continue reading and reviewing books while I was away filming the Tastemaster. I did continue reading, but I was obviously just too busy to dissect the book and review it for you guys. The book that we're reviewing today is actually a book that I bought while I was in Cape Town. I bought quite a few books, other than recipe books, of course. I bought quite a few fiction books that I read a little bit while I was in Cape Town, and one of them, this was the first book that I bought. I actually bought this book when I tested positive for COVID, because I had to obviously isolate for a week, and I thought, my goodness, I'm not going to spend the whole week just watching Disney Plus and Netflix. So I bought this book. We're reviewing The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Lefteri. Christy Lefteri is the author that wrote Songbirds. This book, I've reviewed this one already, and it was absolutely beautiful. It's so beautifully written. It's actually disgusting how well this book is written. And this book, The Beekeeper of Aleppo, was actually written before Songbirds. So I bought Songbirds first, and then I bought The Beekeeper of Aleppo. I'm going to start off by chatting about the cover. The cover is absolutely beautiful. It's got a picture of hands that are sort of setting a bee free, and that's beautiful. On Songbirds, there's also this one hand that looks like it's setting the songbird free. This gold makes me think of richness. I have never been to Syria or the city of Aleppo, but it's been war-torn for a while, and for a reason, because it's rich with resources. And this gold, the way that Beekeeper and Aleppo has been written in gold, makes me think of that. And this gold embellishment as well. As you can see in the background over there, there are buildings which are probably the buildings that have been ruined during the war. So it's a beautiful looking book, beautifully written, and font size, that's important to me. It's not too small. The length of the book was, if I include, because I read, okay, so it's got acknowledgement. I read until, I don't know, wait, hold on. Okay, it's got 360 pages. I don't read books that are longer than 400 pages because I just find that I lose interest quickly. So the cover is beautiful, it's written well, the font size is not too bad, it's not too long, it's really doable. This book touched my heart, you guys. It's devastating, it's heart-wrecking, but it's so beautiful. I'm gonna cry while I talk about this, because this is actually so close to my heart. I'm gonna rate it out of 5 stars. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Wow. So this book follows the journey of Nuri, which is a gentleman from Aleppo, and Afra, his wife, and they are Syrian refugees that take a trip from the city of Aleppo. There's actually a map that shows this on this side. They travel from Aleppo to Istanbul, to Leros, to Athens, and finally to London. So they're trying to make their way from Syria to London, and this is to escape the war. Their son was unfortunately killed during a bombing, and the wife, Afra, saw this, and it completely shattered her. Of course, I mean, I can imagine that as a mother, seeing your child being killed. It's just like, it doesn't make sense, like at all. It shouldn't be happening. It just doesn't make sense. So this book, when I read the back of it, Christy Lefteri, there is a conversation. It says, in conversation with Christy Lefteri. So she is a child of Cypriot refugees. When there was a war in Cyprus, her parents fled and went to London. And for her to write this book is insane. Like, to be able to write this book, she actually went into the refugee camps during the European, and I don't want to call it a European, but during the time around 2014, between 2014 and 2016, when there was a refugee crisis in Europe, where people were getting on these, really just living on hope and prayer that these boats are not going to capsize and that they will make it to safety. That is the extent to which the world is just messed up, that people are willing to risk their lives. Like, they would rather die by drowning and not by being bombed or shot at or being recruited to join whatever forces. And I'm saying this is close to my heart because during that time I was in Europe during that time, and I did see so many Syrian refugees on the streets of Paris. I even remember the one church that I used to go to had like a program that you could go and either teach the kids French or English, the refugee children, and feed them, clothe them, like donate toys, clothing, blankets, donate your time by teaching them French and English. And the way that people were so horrible, and I'm not talking about the people in the church, just the general public, if you hear the way that they speak about the refugees and how they must go back to where they came from, there's not enough space for them here, blah 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 blah, it was horrific. And I get sad because I just feel like I didn't do enough. I didn't help them enough. I didn't get involved enough in the programs that were set up by different communities to help these refugees. Maybe I was just oblivious, maybe I was too young, minding my business, I don't know. But when I look back and I think about it, when I read it from this perspective, it breaks my heart. I love the way that the book is written. It is written similar to how Songbirds was written. So Songbirds was written from two people's perspectives, like the employer of the maid that went missing and the maid's boyfriend. This jumps between timelines. So it will jump between when they are in London and they've finally made it there to when they were making their way, like on their journey. And it covers so many themes. For me, the biggest theme that stood out for me was trauma. The trauma of Afra seeing her son being killed. The way that it changed her physically, physiologically, she went blind. And only to find that she actually wasn't blind, she could see. So they eventually did go to a doctor and they did some tests, and the doctor was like, like, your eyes are functioning. But the way trauma manifests itself in the body, trauma stays in the body, it remains in the body, it physiologically changes you. And that's one thing that I just want people to understand, especially about mental health. You guys know I'm a huge mental health advocate, is that you absolutely just don't know how fragile you are and how fragile other people are. And you gotta be kind, you've gotta be nice. Don't gaslight people when they tell you their stories. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it couldn't have been that bad. Oh, you need to get over it. You weren't there. You don't know. You don't know how it makes my brain function. You don't know how it affects my eyesight, like Afra. You don't know how it affects my digestive system. I don't, you know, like, there is a book that I so badly want to buy, and it's not a fiction book, but it's called The Body Keeps Score, because the body does keep score. The body, and it's so funny how my thoughts are very fragmented, excuse me. So funny how people don't understand this, but I think that I understand this more now that I'm a mother and that I've carried a child in my body, that trauma really does get stored in the body and can be passed on generationally. Whatever happens to a mom during the time that she's pregnant, that is why moms must be looked after like, oh my gosh, you know, not just before or after pregnancy, but during pregnancy. They're like, guys, we're bringing a new soul. I'm literally bringing a new soul onto this earth. Put some respect on my name, you know, because what happens to the mother will affect the child. And so what happened to my grandmother will probably affect me, because I'm talking about me specifically because I'm a girl, and I'll explain now why. When she was pregnant with my mother as a girl baby was already developing the eggs that she would have for the rest of her life. One of those eggs became me. So trauma really, yeah, I think I've said what I had to say about that. And I love that at the end of the book there are questions that you can like interact with if you have like a book club or a reading group or whatever. And one of them is, what do you think the bees and beekeeping represent and symbolize in the story? So Nuri, Afra's husband, and their friend they were beekeepers in Aleppo, and the friend started a beekeeping farm again in the UK. And for me, bees represent life, because bees literally sustain us. They sustain us. They pollinate the foods that we eat, and so without them we're pretty screwed. Like, we're quite screwed. So that's what it represents for me. It represents life, it represents continuity, it represents new life, because when bees pollinate plants, they get new life. You get what I'm saying? Like pollinating strawberry plants, for example, to make strawberries or whatever. Yeah, it's such a special book, you guys. Absolutely love it. This is a book that I would reread. I don't remember what I rated Songbird, but this book, absolute gem of a book. 4 out of 5 stars. Please do not ask to lend books from me. It's gonna be a solid no. I lent a book that I want to review so badly. It's on my top 5 best books that I read this year, 2022. And I lent this book out, and this person has not returned my book. It's the first time I lent a book to a friend, and they have not returned it. So don't ask to borrow my books. My books remain on this beautiful bookshelf, and I'm creating a little library for myself. I'm creating a little Beauty and the Beast library for myself and my son. And we're gonna end this review here. Please do let me know your thoughts about the Beekeeper of Aleppo if you have read it, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm currently reading Black Girls Must Die Exhausted by Jane Allen, which is pure magic. It was a TikTok recommendation, and fire flames. This was not a TikTok recommendation. This is just a book that I saw was written by the same author that wrote Songbirds, and I thought I would probably enjoy it, and I did. So well worth the purchase. I think I paid 200 Rand for this book. So that's all. As you were. Just kidding. I love you guys. Bye.